From the screen to each and every airway. Welcome back to a brand new episode right here on the newly named People's Princess Podcast, the place that prides in intimate and intentional conversations, surely to make you feel like royalty. I am your host, Amaya Kai, welcoming you all back to the palace. And first off to say, thank you guys for staying with me. I know that a lot has been happening, and I had to take a little bit of time off because mentally I have not been okay. And I will be honest with you all in this moment, it has been a struggle. And most of the time when I do my episodes, they come at the time where I feel ready. And when I say ready, I mean that the topic at hand is being delivered in the correct timing. And this episode is no different. However, this really came randomly to me. As I was sitting down in my room where I am right now, I started to notice that I don't talk about how I'm exactly feeling at the moment. And I always say to you all, with great influence comes the greater responsibility. And I've realized that my responsibility as a podcast host is to not really educate you all on what's going on, but let you guys all in on the things that can help not only myself, because I'm a student first and a teacher second. I really want to make sure that my community, which is you all, is okay, whether it's mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, and emotionally. And with the experience that I've been facing in the past 2 weeks, I want to make sure that I deliver you all an episode that relates as such. And I know you're going to be looking at me with this episode like, what is she talking about? Or you could look at it and be like, oh my gosh, she just explained the situation that I'm going through. And I really feel like this episode is for somebody, because this episode is not just for me, it's for you all. And I have entitled it, What to Do When You're Drained. And when I say drained, I mean you're at Kelly Price tired drained. You're at the point where you want to just drop out drained. Or even just, for my college students, you just want to go home. And I've been at that point multiple times in the past 2 weeks. And I just got back, and it's almost about to be midterms. But at the same time, I've been seeing myself, glory to God, not give up. Because I know that there is a bigger mission for me. Whether that is in my major, by the way, I am a biology health sciences major, and just being a podcast host, because at the school I'm in, unfortunately, I really feel as if that there's not a lot of resources. And with me providing this as a resource, I want to make sure that the resources that I'm providing is not only innovative, but just creating a new standard that a lot of us are looking for. And in this episode, I want to address a couple things. So I want to talk about how to address when you're tired, how to immediately catch the signs, and most importantly, just ways to combat being drained and being tired. And these are strategies that I found myself. And without further ado, if you all do have them by you, grab your snacks, grab your favorite drink, your favorite stuffed animal, and let's just sit down and have a grown conversation. You know, I'm not grown, but I'm at that age where I'm a young woman, and I think we need to start seeing these conversations from a person that's at my age level of not only maturity, but just being in a space that is sacred, and understanding that us as teenagers, where we are right now, we can be tired and hide it. I feel like I'm very good at that, because most of the time I walk around with a smile on my face, and then I'm in my room and I'll be like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And I feel like that's so real, because everybody doesn't understand what it means to wake up every day, pray, and just say, God, help me put a smile on my face. And I see myself do that every day. I see myself put a smile on my face. Yet at the same time, I feel so drained because the day before I was up till 12 o'clock in the morning doing homework, or just stop doing homework or studying because I'm so tired, and I don't want to find myself being at that point where I email my teacher saying, hey, Mr. or Miss So-and-so, I'm tired and I wanted to let y'all know that. And I have gotten to that point. I was about to do that a couple days ago, but of course you all know that I am very close with God, or I am getting to a point where that is going to be demonstrated. I heard something tell me, don't throw in the towel. Because to be honest with y'all, I've always known that there's so much for me. It's just that in that moment, as I'm achieving that greater, I see myself feel as if that I'm unworthy. I always see myself feel that I'm undeserving of the opportunities that I've been receiving lately. And just most importantly, feeling underrated. I feel very underrated as a person, as a student official, and most importantly, as just an individual and as a creative, because I see myself pouring in 110% of myself. Yet when it's sometimes in most of my past friendships, relationships, I didn't get a lot. And that was the beginning of where I started to see myself become drained. Because when you give your all, there isn't anybody telling you, hey, that's enough, Amaya. But all of a sudden, as I gave my life to God, He started to tell me when to stop. And knowing me, I'm very stubborn. Sometimes I can be. And I don't see myself giving the necessary breaks or pressing the brakes saying, no, let's just stop. Because everybody's saying balance, balance, balance. Yet we don't realize that everybody's level of balance that we call it is not the same. I find myself in my solitude, and especially as of recently, because I want to make sure that I'm at my best, but it has been hard to reflect that because of the spaces that has been provided. And I'm going to actually be brutally honest with you all, because this is my space and I've created it as such. So I'm going to let you all here know now. If you are not prepared for what I am about to say in this moment, feel free to leave or come back later, because this is not a time for immaturity, dumb mindsets, nothing. Come in here with an open mind. And I will say this for the reason being that you do not know what my listeners are going through. You do not know what I'm going through. So I'm making that clear right now before I say what I'm saying. Because there are many reasons why I can't say I am tired. This is not a call for help. This is not that. This is just me simply stating something that I have been noticing. So let's just keep that a buck. All right. The reason why I have been tired lately is because I've seen myself in situations that have led me to believe that it might be my time to go. And when I say my time to go, I'm not talking about a suicidal thing at all. I am speaking in the sense of it's time for me to pour my cup somewhere else. And that might not be physically me up and moving. It just might be in the things that I look at. Ever since starting my podcast, I'm starting to see myself pour a lot of myself not only into my work, because my work is what God has blessed me with. He's blessed me to have such a huge platform, an ever-growing platform, if I will say, that will change somebody's life. I pour myself into my academics because I don't know if y'all seen my TikTok, but I said, I'm a podcast host. Of course I go to HBCU. Academics come first. And I meant that. because being a student and also being one of the first of two daughters to my mom and my father to go to school, that's a big deal, because I always knew that I have a big future ahead of me. I just didn't know that the calling was higher. And the crazy thing is, though, I remember my uncle prayed over me on the phone. And I will not say all that because there are some things that I will not share with you guys, and that is okay. But I will say that he did pray over me to understand that I do have a calling upon my life, and that is what I've started to realize at my age. Now, whatever that is, I don't know. But at the time it will be revealed, it shall be revealed in the spiritual first and then in the physical after. And with that calling, I'm starting to see myself become that person where I find myself in tears sometimes because I feel so drained. I feel so tired. I might not have a lot of people to talk to. And it's okay. It's okay for me to cry because I see myself understanding that now, and knowing that there are people, who love me, who really care about me, and even pray for me on my behalf. That's what also keeps me going, along with a God who I serve that is very vigilant and very loving, but also he's a just God. Let me add that. God is such a just God where he will sit down with you and tell you, okay, you're doing great in this area, but what about this? And I feel like as I'm sitting here reflecting with you all, I can say I am not doing my best when it comes to pouring into myself. I pour out into the world, but I'm not pouring into myself in the sense of mental and spiritual aspects. And most of the time, and I am also guilty of this, I see a lot of people on social media who are in a relationship with God, who like to, dare I say, boast about it, and they just make you feel so bad. They just make you feel that you're not at the place where you are with God. And I've seen myself in that situation, and honestly, I'm here to let y'all know it's okay. But what's not okay is to let what others are doing outside of your relationship with God and others dictate that. Everybody has a different mindset, but that does not mean that you have to pick up on that. And that's what I've learned a lot being in my first and halfway through the semester of my spring here at Fort Valley State. I've learned that it will take a minute. And as I've seen myself cry my tears to my mom about, not having a lot of friends and feeling left out, Mom, I thank you a lot, because my mom prayed over me and her prayers are working. My grandmother's prayers are working. My dad's prayers, my great-grandmother's prayers are working. My uncle's prayers are working for my pastor. I'm just saying, all of the prayers that people have been praying over me have been working. But for those who are not spiritual, it is okay. But for those who are Christians and are listening to me, it is not okay to boast your relationship with God and make it seem like everything is fine. And you can be fine. Nobody's saying that. But at the same time, it's not okay for you to sit up here and think that you're perfect, because that to me is crazy. You're showing a infatuated side of you that everybody knows and loves, but you can't be able to maintain a image of yourself that shows the bad and the ugly. And that's why I feel like for me, it's my responsibility to show y'all that side. And also another thing is that I'm very tired of is just that when people say that they're there for you when they're not. And as I say this, and with me being at the school I am in now, I tend to see myself thinking, well, dang, you know what I mean? Everybody is supporting this one person, yet at the same time, you're on the back burner. And you always hear, oh, I'm going to go support you. Oh, I'm going to go do this, that, and the third. But at the same time, when you ask them to do something for you, they're ghost. And that's another thing as to why God is starting to show me, okay, you're pouring yourself here. But what God is so not notorious for, what he's known for is when he hears conversations that are talking about you in a negative manner, he's going to remove you from those people. And I've seen myself in that situation because I found out, unfortunately, one of my close friends was talking about me. And I will say, it still stings. I cry about it sometimes. I'll be in my room and I'll just be like, dang, God, why did she have to talk about me? And I remember asking somebody who I see as my spiritual sister, why would they talk about me like that? And the crazy thing is that my presence irritates y'all demons. And honestly, it's fine. It's okay, but it's also not okay to carry yourself around me and just be fake. That's something I just don't like. I do not like the fakeness. I don't like fabrication. I do not. I'm going to use a big word here. I do not like when people fabricate my relationship with them or just an image of me that they have in their mind. Because a lot of people love to say, when I first met you, I thought you was mean. I thought you was stuck up. But I could be, literally, y'all, I'm one of the most sweetest, genuine, and I'm going to say compassionate and faith-driven, detail-oriented person you'll ever see. Because I know what it means to put yourself in relationships that clearly may or may not be for you and you might not know it. I know how it feels to be talked about because everybody deserves a level of love that they've been praying over. And I will say most of the time that love that we seek may be not the love that we're looking for in the season. And sometimes it might not even be in relationships. And people love to associate love with relationships. Love can be from friendships too, because when your friends say that they love you, you got to start evaluating and asking yourself, do they really mean that? And to me, it's so real because when I find myself in that moment, I find myself in my room or to myself just feeling that I need to be by myself and in peace. Because if my peace is disturbed, I'm going to get angry. And that's me being real. And as somebody who has experienced a lot of mental health scenarios such as anxiety, I've never been depressed. I will never admit that I'm depressed. I'm not depressed now. Because what I've learned is that if you speak certain things into existence, it's gonna happen. And I will not say that. I am simply telling you all that I am drained. I have been drained. People have drained me. People have drained the energy out of me. Heck, even this whole institution. Because you find yourself creating spaces that everybody wants to be in. And they say that they need it, yet at the same time, a lot of people like to come at you and make you feel as if you're not worthy. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're very worthy of making that space. That space that, you prayed over or God put into your head, that deserves to be put into fruition because you never know. Maybe those people who talked about you or even your presence irritates their demons. They gonna want to be in that space too. It's hard to accept that not everyone is for you because if you're like me, you always find yourself back at square one, crying in your room, crying to your mom and your dad, like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Why am I not getting the recognition I deserve? Why am I not getting the appreciation I deserve? I'm here to tell you that your time is coming. I'm speaking from experience. Crazy thing is I'm recording this. I recently received things from my friends telling me thank you. And it just felt so real to me because when you talk to God about how you're feeling, sometimes you got to be authentic. And I tell you, I was being so authentic with him for the first time and I literally cried out to him about it. The fact that he literally moved or used my friends to speak to me about how I was feeling says so much. And I will forever not only thank God, but my friends for that because they really understood how I felt and seen what was going on. And that was something that I really needed help with that. And I'm forever grateful. And now with me being in my second semester of college, I'm still learning. And it's okay to say that you're still learning, but it's not okay to not acknowledge that you're not okay in this moment. And I will say that my strategies of finding that out and just trying to find them are still being in process. But the best thing I can say is to take a break. And whatever your break looks like, for me, it's different. I can say that if I'm going to do a break, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I'm going to do some homework. I'm going to go make sure I get everything out the way because most of my due dates are so close. But if I don't do my homework, excuse me, y'all, I had a little yawn. Again, with great influence comes great responsibility. And I have to make sure that I show y'all what happens. But yes, I definitely see myself, whether that's cooking, exercising. I've really seen myself indulging in Pilates. I love Pilates. I'm a Pilates girl. If you've never done it, do it. I like to do Pilates. I like to do a little bit of bar, just depending on how I'm feeling that day and at that time before I work out. I've definitely started getting into praying more. Another thing is I started playing worship music in my room. So when I wake up in the morning, I hear it. When I come back from classes or a friend's room or just a little nice walk outside, I come in to hear worship music, and that also motivates me to go harder. And just also pray. Like I said earlier, pray over it. Ask your friends to pray over you. If they believe in that thing, I'm not putting my relationship with God over anything. Find people that are like-minded. It will bring you lots of peace, and it's okay to be in that. And also, if you just need a break, go home. Go take a nap. And that's a crazy thing, y'all. I remember it's a story in the Bible where I believe it was Elijah, and God told him to take a nap. And he woke up feeling so much better. And it's just so beautiful to me to how sometimes God uses the naps. I haven't had a nap in 2 weeks. Like, I've never had that motion to take a nap, but then I just find myself falling asleep, and that's okay. Also, I love to make a good cup of tea. I like to make, and I'm gonna give y'all my recipe. Sometimes, if I have it with me, I like to make a good black tea with honey or just green tea. I love green tea. Or if you just like sugar, go to Starbucks. But they're funding genocide right now, so do whatever makes you feel better. And also, if that means to separate yourself from people for a day, do that. Even if it means turning off your phone, only choosing certain people to text, do that. It's just being able to understand that when you're tired, you're not at your best, and you have to be able, and this goes for myself too. I'm saying this to myself as I'm talking to you guys. It's time for us to start honoring where we are in life and knowing that it's okay to not be okay. And that we're going to get through it. But also at the same time, our mental health is very important. And I feel like I wish as an HBCU student, it's more publicized as it is on these big social media platforms that only seem to cover certain topics, but when it comes to the mental health of students, it's dead silence. And I hope for me being an HBCU student and creating the platform such as the People's Princess podcast is televised to the correct sources so that people don't not only misuse my words, but just understand that at the age that I'm in, it's very important for us to understand that, and that we start creating the rooms that we were rejected before in. And that's what I'm doing. And so, as I sit here about to wrap this episode, I want to let y'all know that although it is currently 10 o'clock right now in Georgia, I just want to let y'all know that for anybody who is struggling, you have a place here. You do not have the right to tell yourself that you are not worthy. You do not have the right to tell yourself that you don't deserve any opportunity. You don't deserve to be in this room that you're in. or even you don't deserve to have the places that you're going to step into in the future, because that's for you and nobody can take that away from you. But you also have a right to respect yourself, love yourself. Tell yourself every day before you get up out your bed, just say, today's going to be a good day and I believe and receive it. Like, that's just something I find solace in, and it's worth it. And before I end this episode, I would just love to let you all know that 988 is a mental health hotline. And I am, in each and every episode, advertising that, because we never know what somebody is going through. We never know if somebody is thinking about ending their own life. And it's my responsibility as your host to emphasize on the lives of my viewers and those outside of those who are viewing this video or listening to it. And it's just important for me to start elevating my community, because there are a lot of people who say that they are for the community, but they're not. And let's just be honest here. And also, you all can reach out to me at my email, which is amayakai83@gmail.com, and also my social media handles, which is at the.amayakai. And also, my team and I are very committed to making sure that all of my viewers, whether if it's male, female, non-binary, transgender, any of that, is comfortable. So I will be starting a segment on here, making sure that everybody is okay. I don't know how, I don't know it's going to look, but when God lands it on me, I'll let y'all know. And also, the announcement that I have for you all is that I am accepting guests. I am very excited. It's about that time. So for anybody who would love to be a guest on the People's Princess podcast, there will be not only a podcast guest form signing up for whatever episode, and to just make sure that I know your schedule and the date and the time when you're free, so I can free up my schedule whereas it may be. And also, if time permits, let me add that in there. And most importantly, a release form. And for those who do not know what that is, my release form is just to make sure that me as the host and you as a guest understand that this space is very vulnerable, and what is said in this space will not leave the space. And I am 100% committed to upholding that promise. And as I uphold that promise, I hope that everything that I'm saying does not leave the room and that it's not twisted. So I want to make sure that what I'm providing to you as a guest is going to be impactful to you, because you deserve to have the space. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say in regards to that. And also, again, please make sure to call 988 if you have any mental health scenarios or any other things that you have been facing. You can also email or text me if you have my number. And also, if you have my Instagram, you can DM me. Do anything you have to do. I just want to make sure all of my guests are alive and well. And as I end this episode, I just want to say I love you. I'm praying for you, and I'm praying for myself as well. And I hope you pray for me. As I said last episode, I'll have, these so much that I want to do. And I pray that any prayer warriors that are listening to this, I pray that they pray over my mind. I pray that they for protection of my mind, my body, my soul, and just to keep being authentic, because I know that this podcast is going to keep going up in the name of Jesus. Let's just add that in there. And that there will be trials and tribulations, but at the same time, we will get through it. And I just want to say, if I have not told you, I love you. God loves you. Also, I appreciate y'all for being here, and thank y'all for tuning in on such a time like this. And I cannot wait to see you guys on the next episode. And remember, I almost lost my train of thought. But if you do not take anything from this episode, take this verse, which is from Isaiah 54:17, which is one of my favorite verses. For no weapon formed against me shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against me in judgment, Lord, you shall condemn. And that is the end of tonight's podcast. I will see you all back here at the palace. My name is Amaya Kai, aka the head princess in charge, aka the people's princess, and I will see you all soon. Love you.